Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Hey everybody, welcome to another great edition of Freed on Business. This is again a full show on Freed on Weed. We're joined by my partner in the hemp farm, Manny Johnson, and it's actually a misnomer to call it a hemp farm. It's actually a vertically integrated CBD business. Manny and I are going to talk about all the different things we're going to do. We're going to talk about the new hemp law that USDA just started rolling out. We've got great information for you. Make sure to be here for as much of the show as you can be, and then to listen afterwards on Buzzsprout. So, Reagan, take it away. Let's talk about Warren Henry, our sponsors, and then we're back with Manny Johnson. What's up with him? Everybody, it's my chance to remind you that we're South Florida's longest running business talk show, been on since 2008, and we are here for our next recession. That's right, all the way through has been our partners, Warren Henry, and I want to thank Warren Henry. I want to thank Warren, Larry, Samantha, Eric, the whole team over there, Abe at the Lamborghini store. Love you guys. Remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, and Infinity up at their new store at 151st and Biscayne. Up in Broward, they sell Lamborghinis. Down in Keys, they sell all their brands. Up in Gainesville, they've got Audi. What do they have in common? Well, all of them except the Lamborghinis come with the Warren Henry Advantage. What's the Warren Henry Advantage? That means you get a complimentary service loan, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, the best value guarantee, and the 72-hour exchange. You could take 3 full days to try out your car. If you don't like it, you can return it. Nobody ever returns them. They love their car. Join me, lots of my friends, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price. Always the best service. Always Warren Henry. Also a winning combination to give me a call. Call me at 305-773-6300 or just email me, Jim at Freed on Business. Why? Because I can help you. You need residential financing, a jumbo mortgage. I'm doing one right now for a high-profile developer. He thought it would be easy. It's not. Very difficult. He thought he had good credit. He didn't. Here's a tip. Don't go out and try to buy a BMW the day before you run your credit. It doesn't help, especially if you ain't going to buy the car. So call me. I'm helping foreigners get financed. I'm helping people that are moving down from up north to get financed. I'm helping people refinance their homes. I'm helping them get their kids financing. Oh, and I'm also doing huge commercial bridge loans. You're going to read about it in the paper soon. I don't want to give myself the jinx. Just let's say it's close to $100 million bridge loan on one of the most high-profile property here in Miami. And next week, we should be closing some land loans and bridge loans and some memory care loans also. So give me a call. I've got incredible creative financing solutions. If you've got a deal, I've got the capital. And remember, when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, we're on again. We're here with my partner, Manny Johnson. Manny and I are starting what I've been referring to as the hemp farm, but it's much more than a hemp farm. It's a vertically integrated CBD business. You go, why would you do that with Manny? It's because Manny is the Pied Piper of hemp. He's grown it all over the world. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows the top thought leaders, and he's bringing them to be our partners too. Scientists, entrepreneurs, they're all coming for Manny Johnson, and I'm going to be there too. Manny, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Jim. It's great to be here. It's been a beautiful day. We got the USDA laws sent to us. The final laws sent to us last night at 9:05 at night.
Well, tell me, Manny, what is the USDA laws? Is there any surprises there or anything that we need to make any modifications on, or are they kind of consistent with our business model?
Well, I mean, our business model is much more strident than theirs. Is we have to follow them as the basic model, which is great because they are, in the very beginning, like a year ago, or 2018 when the Farm Bill passed, they were very, very rigid in a lot of their standards because they really had no experience ever with hemp. Okay, and they weren't doing pilot programs anywhere, and they didn't have any kind of basis to base things on. So they just sort of came up with some rules, and at least now we've got some rules that we can say are definitive rules. They're no longer interim rules. Some are interim, and that they've in terms of lab testing, but everything else is giving us a good start, and we're separating this from. We're keeping this as farming, which is great.
Manny, and that's sort of where I want to kind of diverge a little bit, because we're farming and the USDA is going to have rules about the farm, but it's more than just a farm that you and I are putting together. There's a reason that we're bringing in Dr. Bleiweiss. There's a reason that we're bringing in Dr. Salmons. There's a reason for all of that. What is it?
Well, we want to have the best people in the world in each of the, each of those four areas. Like cultivation, we want the best cultivator in the world organically because we don't want to be using any heavy metals or any types of pesticides. We want to keep our products safe no matter whether it's the root of the plant, the stalk, or the flower. And we want to encourage people to do that because it will keep the environment green and healthy. And that's been a big problem with farmers is that there's no magnesium in the soil anymore because we've used so much pesticides. It's gotten the magnesium out. So I like the idea that you bring in the best of the best. So we have organic grower, and then we take it from harvesting. We put it right with our extractor, and he's also been doing an analysis and testing the entire time. So we are relying on third-party labs to tell us how our crop is doing.
Now that's Dr. Salmons, right? Dr. Salmons is going to run the extractor. Tell me a little bit about him and why it's great to have him on the extractor and why it's important to test at every phase of growth and production.
Well, because right now we want to establish a database that we know, no one has done this. We want to establish a database like on our products every week to see the different changes in the products in terms of their phytocannabinoids, in terms of their the CBD, the THC types of molecules, and also the terpenes. So we want to know that weekly so we can make, the proper decisions as to when exactly is the perfect time to harvest. Dr. Salmon is a 30-year retired chairman, professor emeritus from one of the largest farming colleges in the United States, University of Illinois. And he's had a tremendous amount of experience working with certifying labs. He designed a lot of the organic labs in the state of Illinois, and he's done a lot of work working with the EPA and the USDA on cleaning up rivers that were polluted.
Now, Manny, why is it important to have a person like that on site, on the team? What competitive advantage is that going to give us vis-a-vis other people that are growing hemp? Because let's face it, there's lots of people out there buying tubs and growing hemp.
Well, the idea is that if you look, I mean, right now in Florida is not, Florida is not the only state, okay, that's having this issue. You've got 800 hemp licenses, I believe, at last count that were issued in the state of Florida. How many people are going to grow? No one knows until they grow it. Okay, but the thing is there's 8 labs. There's actually 7 labs now that are certified to where they can do any type of testing on this.
So it seems like there's going to be a log jam between people that are growing, the ability to get it tested, and therefore they won't be certified to be able to grow, or they get tested when they show up at the plant. And if they show up at the plant and they're hot, you just throw it away. What goes on? What can people expect if they don't follow good protocol?
Well, I can't speak so much for a person who is just a farmer who's growing it and then he's going to harvest it and he's going to send it to the market, because I don't know where the market is right now. So there
is no market is the answer.
Yeah, there is no market. It's
okay. And this stuff just sits in a warehouse looking for a place to process it and waiting for somebody to buy it.
Yeah, so our product is basically planned growth. We have testing and analytical equipment on site that is, it's very, very expensive equipment. And to use the equipment requires advanced degrees. So you can't just get, a $500,000 machine and then get someone with no education and have him start to run it. So, we will know that our product is where we want it to be at all times. And then we will start developing a line of nutraceuticals or supplements that will be used for sleeping, for anxiety. We don't want to make medical claims about it because we don't want to get into pharmacology and big pharma. We want to stick in with organic plant medicines.
Well, let's talk about that for just a second. Okay, I know you have a friend that lives in Colorado. I know that he's been extracting what they call CBN, which is like an isolate. We'll get into that later. But there's anecdotal information that CBN helps people sleep. So theoretically, you could have Dr. Salmon producing a pure CBN. We haven't mentioned him yet, but we have Dr. Bleiweiss, who's our compound pharmacist and naturopathic medicine person. He could put it all together in something that could be unique. Then you patent it. Suddenly you've got a product that you patented and it's a business. But how do you get it out there? Well, we know how you get it out there. You call your friends, Manny. Tell me about your friends.
Well, these are some of the largest, grocery store chains and some of the largest pharmacy chains in the United States.
You don't have to identify them. We all kind of know who they are when you say that.
Yeah. I just don't want to go out on a limb with that because
we don't need to put it out there. But what I do want to talk about in the next segment, Manny, is your vast experience, how you've done this before, how you've built a business from ground zero to be the largest in the world. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. It's actually going to be a business management deep dive more than a hemp or cannabis deep dive. We're going to talk to Manny. We're going to talk to him about how he built his last vertically integrated agricultural business and who his customers were. Back after this. All right, everybody. This is where I say that we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. We were on the radio for years. We migrated right to the internet just at the right time. Thank you, serendipity. And we've got all the first responders, healthcare heroes, and all kinds of wonderful people that listen all the time. Shout out to all my friends that are teachers, doctors, EMTs. Tarek, high five to my friend Tarek, the EMT. And I really want to thank our friends at Warren Henry who've been with us so long now. I want to thank Warren, Larry, Eric, Samantha, everybody on the team. It's been almost a decade now. We buy all our cars there. Our friends buy their cars there. It's a tremendous thing. You feel like family. You watch them grow up. It's loving. It's kind. That's all I'm seeking in life is love and kindness. And when you're looking to buy a lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out my friends at Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. That's what they sell up in Biscayne and 151st. They've got their Audi store in Gainesville. Down in the Keys, they've got them all with my farm. I think I'm going to go down there and get one of them fancy Jeeps, Manny. You come down there too, we'll get a four-wheel drive for you. Everything they've got there comes with a couple of things. First of all, they're all great cars. What else do they come with? They come with the Warren Henry Advantage. It's this big list of stuff I read every time. It's complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement. I just had them replace my keys. It costs like $100 if you don't have them do it. Guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and of course, a 72-hour exchange. You can take 3 days to decide whether you like the car. You will. Join a lot of my friends, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian. She loves her car there. It keeps her rolling, obviously. And of course, me. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best service, always the best price, always Warren Henry.
This is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
That's right. And call me at 305-773-6300 if you need real estate capital. I'm about ready to do a $100 million transaction. That's right, $100 million. I'm tight with the guys from New York that are bringing the money. Everybody down here can't believe it. I told one of the guys on the deal, if I close the deal, he's got to ride around town in a clown suit. Guess where he's going tomorrow? That's right. He's going to the costume store because he needs to get a clown suit. Give me a call. I got creative capital for you. Construction loans, bridge loans, land loans. Call me. I've got creative capital from wonderful people you'll enjoy doing business with. No more bad energy in my life. Call me at 305-773-6300. You'll be like Manny Johnson, very laid back and calm. I'm a little bit more high energy. But one thing Manny and I have in common is we love the world and we love our fellow man, and we are trying to bring goodness and love and light to the planet. So call me. That's right. I can do your real estate deal with positive energy. It can really happen. Call me at 305-773-6300. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
We ought to start the show early one time so people can see me getting all set up with all of the lights and the cameras and the action and all that other stuff. It's really tremendous. But the most important thing about my show is you, the listener. I'm going to thank you so much for joining us. It's Reagan who puts everything together, and it's really my guest. Every week, I'm not the star. My guest is the star. And one of the biggest stars that I've ever had on the show is Manny Johnson. Manny, welcome back.
Thanks, Jim. It's great to be here.
Now, people go, why is Manny Johnson a star? I'll tell you why Manny Johnson's a star. In fact, I'm going to let Manny tell you why Manny's a star. It all started on a farm in Orlando. Take it away, Manny.
Well, I would tell you guys that, just to give you a brief history on me, but I would tell you probably what I consider to be my greatest asset is that I know my limitations. And so when I find my limitations, I try to find the best person in the world who can help me with that limitation. And I've always had a knack to do that. My grandfather helped me learn how to grow organically. I'm a third generation farmer. I joined the military 4 days out of high school, went to West Point. I was working on a medical microbiology, biochemistry advanced degree. And I just realized this was not going to be my bliss, that I loved getting my hands dirty. I loved working with plants. So I started off with little bonsai trees, bonsai, you might know from the Karate Kid, okay? And I got into Oriental philosophy because I like the Zen way of life, the yoga, the meditation, the calmness, and started off with that. And I actually had, when I resigned from the military and I got out, I basically dropped out of the program for the advanced degree. My parents were very concerned because here I am going on this career path, and now all of a sudden, there's a guy with like 10 plants, and he's going to start a business. But you know what? I've never doubted myself in terms of what I could do, because I will get up earlier than anybody else. I'll stay up later, and I just have a passion and a love for what I do. I used to sell bonsai trees to start my business at the intersection of a busy highway. I'd get a piece of plywood and red spray paint and put bonsai on it, and I had my Oriental display that I designed. And I'd sell those plants every week. I'd save the money. Then my partner and I would go from, she did one location, I did another location. We saved up all our money. We got into one shopping mall. And by the way, we were the people who started the kiosks in the middle of the malls. The malls did not allow that. And so I got with the head, Mr. DeBartolo, Mr. DeBartolo Sr., Mr. D. And I said, look, you got the space in the middle of the mall. And so he rented it to me. I got right in front of the food court at Christmas, and sales were phenomenal. We because we love what we're doing, and we had a great product. And we're in the middle of these shopping malls when they were so hot back then. And we took that money, put it in the bank, kept doing our shows on the weekends, and ended up being blessed enough to be in Disney's Festival of the Masters, where I won an award, and Disney came up and said, we want your products in our stores. And I said, well, I've only been calling you for 2 years trying to get in. So I left my plants in the booth that I had left there. And on the drive home, which was about an hour and a half away, they called and said they'd sold out of plants, and could I please deliver some more? So Sunday, I got up, loaded the truck myself, delivered it again. And at the same show, we ran across this guy who was opening an appliance super center in Atlanta. And he liked my personality, my attitude, and the product. And so he said, can you put your product up here? And I was a little hesitant because I didn't know how to do it, because I'd never really done wholesale like that. That was Bernie Marcus from Home Depot. And we were in every Home Depot. Disney taught us how the customer service is everything, okay? Everything. Best price, best quality, best customer service. Home Depot was the same way. They taught us how to grow from one Home Depot to 1,528. Then all of a sudden CVS saw us. That's 7,000 stores, Jim. Then Walgreens saw us, 7,000 stores. 15,000 grocery stores later, we're in Germany selling to Aldi for Europe. And then I've got another nursery in China that has to be there because we're out of land, and we're out of people, and we're out of pots. And so we built this business from no one gave us a dime. From our hands, we built it up into the largest specialty floral nursery or business in the United States. Then I went to UCLA Film School because I wanted to tell some stories about what I'd learned along the way. And one thing I do want to tell you, Jim, none of this was done by me. It was done by a great group of a family from Mexico that just walked into the nursery one day, and I could tell she wanted a job, but she didn't speak English. Started working for us, and then I asked her at the end of the day, I said, "You have a sister?" "Yes." "Bring her." "You got a brother?" "Yeah." "Bring him." I had 33 of that family member working for me. Plus, we could go to the Spanish church and talk to the priest if we needed more employees for the bigger orders that started out. And I would literally go to like a CVS and get a 10 promotion deal, okay, for 7,000 stores. I don't even want to tell you how much money that was, but I would get that. And then I'd come back and I would go to the guy who was weeding in the nursery, and I would hug him. And I'd say, "I'm hugging you because I was able to go to CVS and get this order because you were doing the weeding and I didn't have to do it that day." So I've never been the type that has a job description that says you only do this. I do whatever needs to be done that day. And that's what the farmer does. That's why Florida's farming has been killed by citrus canker. The cattle industry is having extreme difficulties. Produce being grown all over the year with employees that are making less than $3-4 an hour. And so hemp comes in, and now all of a sudden we've got hemp, and we're talking about, making a nutraceutical for people, okay? Because that's our end game, because we've got this science idea. But it's not where we stop. We keep going, and we make hempcrete for buildings so we don't have polluting concrete anymore. We have something that's good for the environment. Okay, and then we make drywall, we make insulation, we make a plastic substitute. And it's any farmer who wants to do it. So, this has just been a epiphany for the farmer. And I just hope and pray that it develops into what it can develop. And it's a matter of getting specialists. I worked up in Illinois last year on a project. We had 67 square miles of farmland. We had 32 PhDs. Got a PhD in every area: textiles, biopolymers, tissue culture, you name it. I would get the best one I could find in the world. I'd hire them, and we put the plans together.
Well, Manny, it sounds like that's a very similar story to what we have planned here for the hemp farm and the vertically integrated CBD business. When I'm talking to people, they say that the most important thing is two things. Number one, growing the product and making sure it's what you say it is. And number two, getting it to the retailers on time. You've had great experience with both of those. That's why you're a tremendous linchpin for this team. I want to take a quick break, and then I'm going to come back and talk about some of the other team members that you're surrounding yourself with that are the best in class in each of their categories. Reagan, take it away. Everybody stick with us. You're not going to want to miss the next segment. All right, everybody. This is where I say we're South Florida's longest running business talk show. It's the truth. No one even comes close. We've been on since 2008. That's 2 recessions. Find me somebody who's been through 2 recessions on the radio at this point, and now we're on the podcast. So thank you to all of our sponsors, and thank you to our listener. Remember, we're going to thank our friends at Warren Henry who've been with us since 2012. Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Eric. And thank you, Samantha. Samantha's the one that runs the program with us. Hey, everybody, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar. Down in the Keys, they've got them all. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. What do they have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That means you get complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, and the 72-hour exchange. You could take 3 full days to make sure you like your Warren Henry car. Guess what? You will. Join a lot of my friends, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, even me. That's right. I've had them for 30 years. We all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. You know, we always run that, and the ad is so true. Kindness does win. It's how I get my business in today's world. It used to be that everybody used to be really tough and angry, and this doesn't work anymore. People don't want to be around you if you're tough and angry. They want to be around you if you're happy and kind. That's why I affiliate with people like Manny Johnson. So if you want to be part of my team, you want to be part of my universe, give me a call, 305-773-6300. If you got a real estate issue, I can help, usually with just one phone call. I've got one deal right now. It's a land loan, bridge loan for a healthcare facility. One call did it. That's right, just one call. And then I've got another deal that I'm working on that's going to be about $100 million bridge loan on a really famous project here in Miami. God willing, it'll close in a couple of weeks too. And again, that's just because I was a nice person and I've known the people involved for 30 years. So give me a call if you'd like to put my track record and my energy to work for you. Jim Freed, 305-773-6300. Remember, when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
This is so great. This is such a respite for me today. I'm back to back on calls all day long with people on bridge loans, construction loans, all kinds of different mortgages, different ideas, helping folks getting different things done in the community. But the best time of my day, every day, is when I speak with my partner, Manny Johnson, because he is what I like to refer to as Larry Laid Back. I'm always keyed up and I'm always rolling. But my bonsai partner up there who did the bonsai business is always laid back, but don't let that fool you. He's a killer. That's right. That's right. Manny was Manny, what were you? SEAL Team 6 or, Special Forces something. Manny knows how to do it to them and he can do it for us. So we're going to talk to Manny now about who he's surrounding himself with that are best in class. Manny, tell me a little bit about Dr. Sammons. We talked about that he's third generation PhD from University of Illinois. Why is it so important to have a guy like that on the team?
Well, what I liked about it was the idea that I found that he, had done so much work with the chemistry of the plant, the individual molecules in plants, where he was able to take corn and increase the root of the corn from like 5 inches down to 13 inches and stimulate the corn to do that organically.
Who cares?
Pardon?
Why would anybody care about how long the corn roots are?
Because you can survive a 3-year drought instead of a 1-year drought, and you can save millions of people in Africa and other countries when there's droughts. So I read that article and I said, okay, this is a guy to get a hold of. And then I saw that in his CV, he's named molecules. How many people do you know, Jim, have named molecules?
I didn't know you could.
So anyway, he's a brilliant man. He comes from a family that have been professors like through his grandfather. Okay, very, very hard worker, very honest, right down the line. If he does, if he has a question, or if I have a question and he can't answer it, he gets the answer and comes back with it. And I'm working on financial sheets, and I'm doing things and I'm getting it, to where, okay, here is our profit, here is our loss, and I'm basing it on dollars. Okay, he does it the scientific way, which is completely it's completely opposite, but it's so complementary. He does it down to the milligram, 1,000th of a gram of oil. Manny,
why do you need a person like that running your machine and how is he different than other people that run other extractors?
Well, there's no requirements, federally or state for anyone to have any type of education or degree to run these machines.
That's scary right there.
It's horrifying. Because, we're looking at these test results and we're finding that labs, there isn't one state in the United States that hasn't had a lab that's been closed due to fraud, negligence, or the wrong results.
So people are paying off to get their stuff approved to go through the system. So people are getting, I don't want to say diluted. That's not the right word. It's,
polluted products.
Okay, polluted. I was looking for something else, but okay, polluted works. Yeah, polluted products. They're not getting what they thought. They're getting poisons, they're getting heavy metals, they're getting death. Or
they're getting nothing. The whole thing is what they're buying is not in the bottle. It's just a label. Okay. Now, and we're trying to change that, and there's a lot of honest people in the world that are doing it right. It's just this is such a big hype on this right now, is you've got so many dishonest people. And the way you keep honest people honest is by getting the best people you can get. Like, we have our own testing and analysis lab built into the farm. So we do our own testing and analysis prior to it even going out for testing.
Now, Manny, we've talked about our extraction. Let's talk about the products. Why are you affiliating with Dr. David Bleiweiss? Who is he? Why is that important? How long?
Well, when you've got someone with the skill set that a Dr. Salmon has to literally take any molecule out of the full spectrum oil that we're going to produce, we can take molecules out, combine them together, and we can do some clinical trials and see, how this goes, because, there's a lot of medical research that is published now, a lot of scientific research around the world. You can't really Google it and get a hold of it. You've got to be in a university environment to get access to that type of material, which Dr. Salmon and Dr. Bleiweiss both have. But Dr. Bleiweiss is an interesting character in that he started off as a compound pharmacist, and he got into that, and he then went to medical school, and he didn't like prescribing pharmaceuticals because he said, gosh, the side effects. He would give you, okay, this pill will help you with this, and then there was a whole page of side effects. So he got into plant medicines, and he, for 3 years, he was with the World Health Organization in Africa studying plants. And so that got my attention. And so he's the kind of person, and he's one of the largest nutraceutical designers for companies in the world right now. He designs for all the major nutraceutical companies that you'll see in your grocery store, areas by the pharmacy. So I got with him. He's got a tremendous knowledge of, like I said, the medicines, the science, the chemistry. You put minds together. Like, I'm a dreamer, okay? My dream is this farm, okay, this vertically integrated farm. I want to be very important with that. That's been my dream. I've done marijuana licenses all over the United States and in 4 countries, and it gave me a great deal of experience, but I kept seeing it get away from the medical part and it going into getting people just high. And I'm not saying that that's happening all the time. It's not, but there's a tremendous danger in that because we're exposing humans to things that humans have never been exposed to before. Yes, marijuana has been around for thousands of years, but not at these THC concentrations and not at these extraction methods where you get a $500,000 machine and you go in and there's a guy that went to the 6-hour course and he's running the machine. And, Dr. Salmon and I walk in the door and he's got a standard blank to run through the machine to see if the machine's even calibrated. And the guy doesn't even know how to calibrate it. So those are things that scare me. And that's called regulation.
Now, Manny, there's one last person that you're surrounding yourself with on this. Talk a little bit about your friend Greg.
Wow. all I can tell you is wow. When I got into this project and I saw that changing their laws, and Florida to me is got great laws in place. They're great farmers. Some of the best farmers in the world are here. The farmers are hurting here. And I said, you know what? I like Florida because you can grow 365 days a year here. Whereas that deal I was telling you about in Illinois, we were real concerned about being able to get one crop a year. So I've been trying to get a hold of this Greg, okay, and I've known Greg for like 25 years through the nursery industry, and so I got a hold of him, and 2 weeks earlier he had sent me these hemp plants that he had taken pictures of and wanted my opinion on. And I took the pictures, put them in my computer, and I magnified them, and I looked, and I said, geez, man, there's not a brown spot on this. There's not a yellow leaf. I said, I can't believe how thick the trunks are. So I end up calling him up, and I go, are these plants that are just like special that you've done, and have you removed all of the yellow leaves? He goes, no, that's just 2 that I pulled out for you to look at. So 2 days later, I'm at the farm looking at, to see what he's doing down there. And he's a tremendous guy. He's got a tremendous background. He's built a couple of Walmarts. I mean, built them, okay? Not just thought about them, but Walmart came to him and said, can you build these Walmarts for us? And can you build Sam's Clubs? So the guy's very, very, very hard worker with that. He's a farmer. He's one of the largest farming families in this area and probably in the state of Florida. He grows only organically. He's never grown any other way. He's got a great history, very much like my grandfather, where he learned where to grow up in Canada. And the beauty of it is he was growing industrial hemp in Canada in 1979. Okay, so does the guy know how to grow? Positively. Is it proven? Positively. His tomato was most beautiful tomato of the year last year. Okay, and that's an international organization, and believe me, it's serious because tomatoes. Think about how many different items tomatoes go in. So, and his tomatoes are. I always love going down there and just having a salad from him because everything. It's like. You'll ask him to cut a tomato off the plant, and he'll go, so you can taste it, and he'll go, well, let me wait between 12 and 1 o'clock. And you were there with me, Jim.
Yes.
I said, why are we waiting? Can't we just eat it now? He goes, nope. He said, I watered it this morning at 5, and he said, by 12 to 1 o'clock, that water will have gone up into the tomato, or the tomato plant into the tomato, and it'll be much sweeter. So we waited, and wow.
He was great.
And so, that's the kind of guy he is. He's also the kind of guy that feeds homeless people. He's the kind of guy that goes down to foreign countries and sets up orphanages. Okay? He's the kind of guy that goes down to these same foreign countries that in the orphanages around them that have the farmers that are being ripped off by people that are giving them just enough money to keep them able to grow their product, but not to prosper. And he sets up a fund to do that. So he's just the kind of person. It's like if you look at this team, I look at it, and buddy, I've been to every legal country or every legal state that there's been doing this in the United States. 4 countries. I was growing this stuff in between Hungary and Austria. 2014. 2014 was a member of the Rocky Mountain Hemp Club. That's Colorado. Been to Oregon, California, Canada. I've never seen anybody like him. And I've never seen any scientist like Dr. Salmon, ever. I ask him a question, and you don't just get back a simple answer. You get back the science behind the answer. Then you ask Dr. Bleiweiss, hey, can you help us with this? And he goes, well, I think if we added this to it and this to it, based on my 40 years of experience, we can get this out of it. Okay, then you got Greg organically, then you got you, Jim, and you got me, who, like I said, I can put this, I'm the gel that holds this together. That's what I've always been that with a business. I've always had the dream and said, I'm going to make this happen.
Well, Manny, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to make happen. We're going to talk about how it's going to go from seed, which we've got thousands of the seeds. We don't have to tell how we got them. We just know how to get them. We have the seeds. We're going to go all the way to it coming out of a container. We'll be back with Manny Johnson. We'll talk about the vertical integration of the hemp business here in Florida. Right after this, Mr. Mendoza, you're up. Thank our friends at Warren Henry for being sponsors since 2012. Thank you, Warren. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Eric. And thank you, Samantha. Remember, when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti and Jaguar. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. Down in Miami, down in the Keys, they sell them all. What do they have in common? They're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. What does that mean? Well, that means you get complimentary, complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection, key replacement, guaranteed purchase offer, best value guarantee, 72-hour exchange, my favorite. You can take 3 days to decide whether or not you like your Warren Henry car. Guess what? You will. Join a lot of my friends, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, and of course me. I've driven one for 30 years. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Fried, and I'm your capital markets expert. Give me a call. I can help you get all kinds of commercial real estate finance, construction loans, bridge loans, mezz, equity, pref equity, JV partners, you name it. I've done it all, and I know the guys that you can do it with. So give me a call at 305-773-6300. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Fried on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Fried or at Fried on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Fried1. Now, back to your host, Jim Fried.
All right, everybody. This is our latest edition of the Fried on Weed series. We're here with Manny Johnson. Manny and I have been talking about why hemp, why Florida, what does hemp do, who we're going to do it with. Manny, now let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do. You went out and you accumulated a whole bunch of seeds, which is tough to do. So now you've got the seeds. Now what?
Well, you have to have seeds that'll grow in certain strains that'll grow in certain geographic areas. And there's only a couple of studies that have been that have documented that. So you know the farmer needs to buy the right seeds. It's very, very difficult to do that because now all of a sudden, a year ago, hemp became legal to grow in the United States federally, and then each state had to submit their laws. Florida submitted and got their laws passed. I think it was like in April. The farmers have, applied for their licenses, and they're starting to be able to grow. Where are they going to get the seeds? There's just not enough seeds to go around. So we were fortunate to buy seeds earlier because we kind of saw this happening. We had no idea the weather was going to be so turbulent up north, which is definitely going to affect the market. Our idea is to grow things by seeds at first, and then we'll create our own seeds from seeding plants. But the idea is to get to tissue culture, to where you grow things that are clones. They're not mother plant cuttings, which is what a lot of people are using the word clone for. They're actual clones. They have the exact same DNA. So that'll take us to a whole nother level. And hopefully what'll end up happening is we will never end up at a point where we're just happy with what we're doing. We want to, I want to be like thrilled at what I'm doing every day. I want us to change science. I want us to change, everyone's life to make them happier. I want to create jobs for veterans and for women and for minority groups that need jobs so desperately. I could talk all day about the things that I want to do, even with our salespeople. I want salespeople who make a living, who make an honest living, and they don't have to work 3 jobs in order to try to pay the rent. I want people who can smile, who we can, on Fridays, maybe all get together on a Zoom call and, have fun. And then, hopefully we can have retreats. I used to do that with my plant nursery. On Friday, we brought a buffet in and had lunch together and talked about the problems we had that week and what was good that week.
That's Greg was feeding his whole team when we were there on Friday. Don't you remember that? Positively.
And that's
great fried chicken, but the best part was the peach cobbler.
That's what Johnny, his wife, made. The peach cobbler was incredible.
I think that it's important to talk about Johnny for just a second because she gives us the relationship with the Seminoles. What is that important for in our business model?
Well, her family was, I don't know how many generations they've been down in this area, but they've been down there since a long, long, long time. I'm thinking like maybe 5-7 generations.
What about her great-grandma? Who is she?
Oh, my goodness. No, this is her, actually, it's her mother.
Her mother?
Her mother is the one that we saw we saw on the horse right up to get the mail at 94. So,
famous lady, right? The
very famous lady
in Central Florida.
Positively.
That's tremendous.
Written about her. They're the only non-Seminole Seminole Indians who are able to vote on Seminole Indian tribal affairs.
Wow.
They're just very, very benevolent, loving people. And it's so nice in the very difficult years that we have had lately. It is so good to go and to see like fresh air, real, sunlight, fresh air, driving around the farm with Greg, and he's going to his employees and he's high-fiving them and telling them what a great job they're doing, and he's being like a human being that like I like to be, it's like, I don't, like I said, no job is every job is an honest job. Every job is honorable. And I watched him deliver a calf. I watched him with the piglets. I watched him, the tomato thing in between 12 and
great. I don't even show the pictures of the tomato stuff. I don't let people see that. Well, listen, Manny, I want to thank you for coming on here on Freedom Weed. I want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to work with you and the A-team to bring this through fruition. We're going to keep people updated throughout our process here on Freedom Business and our Freedom Weed segments. And I want to thank you. I want to thank Dr. Sammons. I want to thank Dr. Bleiweiss. I want to thank Greg for all coming together along with our team of investors to make this happen. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with more Manny Johnson. We've had him on a couple back-to-back weeks almost. We're going to give it a little while, maybe about a month, Manny. And when you come back on, boy, the stories you'll have to tell.
I want to say thank you, Jim, for bringing the knowledge that you have brought to the public on on everything with cannabis. You were one of the pioneers that went on a radio show and started talking about it in the real way.
Thank you, Manny. We're not here to get people high. We're here to help people have better lives. So thank you so much to Manny Johnson, and thank you so much to our sponsors. I want to give a shout out to the first responders, to the people on the front lines. We've got different names for the people that do the jobs that are difficult here. We all know who you are, and we all want to thank you. I want to thank our sponsors, of course, Warren Henry Automotive, who's been with us since 2012, Creco AI and Carlson Integrated, Turkel Brands, Deep Locks, my good friend Megan Mendoza, who helps me look good, the Bergstrom Center for Real Estate Studies. But most of all, I want to thank you, the person that watches the podcast and listens to our show. Join our community. Give us feedback and comments. Tell us who you want to hear from. Tweet at me at Jim Freed at Freed on Business. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Tweet. I don't know, everything. LinkedIn. The show is up on LinkedIn immediately, and then Reagan will polish it up and put it up everywhere, especially on YouTube, probably by the end of the day. Next week, we're going to have a great show. We're working on putting it together. It's going to be tremendous. Hopefully, it'll be more great positive energy. You know, it will be. Next Wednesday at noon. Why? Because I just love doing this. Remember, the person who wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. Reagan, it's yours.